Yes. Okay, 6:02, that seems to be a trend, 6:02 all the time. Present is Nancy Berger, Jim Green, Mark Bayram, Gail Lemure, Peter DeFazio, Jerry Salvio. On Zoom, we have Seb Senia, Jim Norton, and Jim Mugella. Joe Pulcini may join us later. If he does come in, I'll let you know. At this point, I'm calling for audience of citizens. Is there anyone that wishes to speak for audience of citizens? Now is your time. Please identify yourself. I see no one there, so we'll close audience of citizens. Approval of minutes. Everyone get the minutes from the last meeting? Any comments?
There's a couple errors in there, Peter. Timberland is spelled wrong.
Okay.
Top dress is spelled wrong. It's a TOP. There's 2 words or a dash. And deciduous trees are spelled wrong.
Okay.
The other one is, I wasn't there, so I could not have approved them to adjourn the meeting.
Correct.
On
Okay.
the last page.
Yep.
Got it?
Did you get that, Alina?
Yes.
Okay, we're good.
Good.
Gail, do you have anything? No? So, do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay,
With
Gail,
correction. Second.
Nancy, second. Discussion, all in favor?
I have to recuse myself. I wasn't there.
Jim Norton abstains.
I do have a comment for the record. Because I was not at the meeting, I think after where I noticed there was an error in, I think it was the October minutes, the amount, and if I go back and look, I'm trying to bring it up my phone, but I can't. It said the men's club contributed something like either $9,000 or $11,000 to the 50th anniversary. That was the total amount. The men's club contributed $1,500. And I just think that's important to be in the minutes in case somebody is reading through them. Of course, they have to read all the months to know the men's club contributed $1,500 versus the amount that was noted.
Okay. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
All right, there is no old business for tonight. New business, discussion of proposed 2022 rates. Everyone got the proposed rates, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what do we think?
Well, can Jerry walk us through all the columns, please? So I understand, what they are.
All right, well, start at the top.
Yeah,
Seasons
just walk us
passes.
through like one all the way across, how you calculate.
Okay, well, if you look at the, again, we're starting with seasons passes, adult unlimited,
Yep.
resident, yeah.
Yep, perfect.
The fee that we're looking or proposing is $1,100. And what I did was this, I took which was very difficult, which we did last year because we had so many categories in years past, and trying to get them all to fit into our current rate structure is very difficult. So we looked at the actual numbers from this year, which I think were pretty good example of where we should be and probably will be in the future. I feel much better at the end of next year. We'll have 2 years under our belt, but then you kind of take everything into account, kind of meld them together. And it's not a guess, but the guessing part came with the consolidation of the previous year's rates, not this year, but the previous year's rates. Again, and not to beat a dead horse, because there were so many categories,
I
trying to
understand.
figure out if it's resident,
I understand.
18, 9, whatever.
Right, so just can you
So anyhow, that being said,
walk across that
so
first
when
line.
you look at, what I try to do is
So
plus or
34,
minus,
What is
3%
34?
residents. I'm sorry,
what is 34?
no, plus or minus 3% for the increase in resident rates.
I'm sorry, dear, can you
That's
start?
how many were sold.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So 34 was the number sold, I just need to understand.
Oh, okay, 34 was the number, so, okay, yeah.
And 2021 was the rate for last year, correct?
Yes, correct, yeah.
So 1,050, and then you projected, or you're suggesting, whatever, proposing 3% would bring it to 108, 1081. 150,
yeah.
okay,
And then from there, you know.
okay, and then over there, what's that next column?
The 1100,
Yeah, it's the same thing as that column, right? Okay.
well, no, it isn't, because then I have to round up or down, you know, within, I've got to get to a whole number.
Yeah, okay, so, but the 1, 2, 3, fourth column is the same as the third, for that particular line,
Yeah,
okay? And then the adjusted is you're getting to your whole number that you wanna get to, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then the variance, right, between the two,
Correct.
okay, thank you. I just wanted to understand the formula all the way across. Thank you.
Any comments?
yeah. What's a super senior?
That's something I created, that's me, because we maybe have 2 or 3, what I count, 90 and above that are currently playing.
Oh, you have to be 90?
Yeah, you gotta be 90. And, you know, I said, you know what the hell,
Is that true, 90?
90
Yeah,
and above.
really, yeah.
Yeah. And
So
I-
Jerry, those aren't 3%
2 or
increases.
3. I think there's 2 or 3,
Yeah, that's
that
nice.
fall into that
I
category.
like that.
And I'm like, you know what,
Mhm.
they're 90, whatever, they're playing golf, they deserve a break.
Yeah,
So I did that, I
I
gave them a
like
break.
that. That's a good idea.
Jim, what did you say?
Those aren't 3% increases. That's actually a 3.8% increase.
Yeah,
Let's
it
bump it
could
up.
be.
No, it is. I'm just telling you what it is. So,
Yeah, it's gonna
You
be
know-
plus or minus, Jim, I can't, you know,
That's fine, but that's good to know. So some are 3, so between 3 and 3.8, or 3 to 4?
yeah, and you might see some a little bit
probably
lower.
five or six, and I'm sure in some, but
Yeah.
I don't know yet without looking at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are we premature? I got a question, just a fundamental question. Are we premature in doing this based upon,
No,
well,
this has to-
let
this
let-
has to
let
get
me-
done.
Wait, Jim, I'm a little confused at that question, because you said that we gotta jump on this right away, and that was
Well-
2 meetings ago, and so.
can I
so,
finish
yeah,
speaking?
Sure.
Okay. With what's gonna happen next week, are we premature in doing this? Is what I'm trying, I mean, it's good that you have this in your pocket.
No, Jim,
But-
to answer your question, the town wants me to continue forward as if nothing's going to happen.
Okay,
I had to do my budget, submit my budget, do the rates, submit the rates, and that all needed to be done by the end of November. So I was, you know, I have to do, we're proceeding as if.
as if nothing's changing.
Nothing, in
Well-
the event nothing changes, exactly.
We're not voting on these tonight, we're just discussing these
They're
tonight.
just,
And
Oh,
actually,
I misunderstood. I thought this was being presented.
no, Jim,
for
no.
discussion.
It's
For
presented,
okay.
just for discussion, yeah.
Because
Fair
I was thinking about just exactly what you said, Jim Norton, was that regardless what happens, if there's a maintenance contract or not, the maintenance company isn't gonna be setting the rates, the town is still gonna set the
Correct.
rates.
That's absolutely correct.
Right, okay. So, yeah, so what would you say the range is on anywhere from 2
Yeah.
something to 6 something?
Yeah, oh, you
Percent?
mean as far as resident,
Yeah.
non-resident? Yeah,
Just-
I think in the maybe you're up at around 5.3, 5.5, maybe.
So 3
You
to
know,
6%.
3 to 6, yeah.
Okay,
That's
that-
being very generous, yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Sebby, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, Peter, I got, and getting back to what Jim Norton was saying in reference to the percentages. I did notice that the percentages for the residents on the season passes were higher than 3%, and it was always rounded up to like 3.8 or 3.2. And in reference to the non-residents, it was always reduced to rather than 5% to 2.9 or 2.1. I got a problem with that.
Well,
The
you know,
problem that I have with that is that I think it should be the reverse. I think the residents who are paying the taxes in the town of Berlin should get the lower percentage, and the non-residents should be rounded up to the higher percentage. That's my thoughts.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
Anyone else?
Jerry, Mark, you have input on this too? Working with
No,
Jerry through this
I'm
thing, whole
seeing
thing?
it the same time you are.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm seeing it the same time you are. I didn't have any input on this at all.
That's interesting.
Well, again, Jim, and everyone, this is a baseline that we go by. Just like it was with Jonathan or whomever, they did a spreadsheet and they came with the spreadsheet and this is the first one.
In the past though, Pete, I've been involved.
Okay, I did not know that.
You knew that with John Zook. I'm the one that did all of it
Well,
for John Zook. You knew that. I mean, let's face it, that's what it was. He knows.
well, I did not know that you did all the work. I know that you did
Okay.
some of the sheet work.
Okay.
Um,
So I had some involvement then.
Granted, okay, fair enough. So this is what is presented, so we work from here. Is that correct?
Or do we try to come together and work with it?
Well, I'd be
I
interested.
would have thought so too. I mean,
Mike,
are we in agreement?
do you have any thoughts, or you haven't had a chance to look at it? We got it a couple days ago.
Listen, I mean, it kind of goes with what we've done year after year. It might be a little higher in the percentage of increase, but don't you have to meet a certain number in the budget?
Correct.
And I mean, that's probably the figure you have to look at first, and then how you get there.
But when
Well,
you,
he does at the end.
when you look at the season passes, they weren't raised
So
last year.
Season passes were kind of
Nope.
stagnant last
They
year.
stayed the same.
They
So-
did.
So it doesn't, you know,
And we reduced non-resident last year.
yes,
You gotta look at what you did. You sold way more season passes this year than you have in a long time.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the revenue, it's 35,000 more in season passes. Through November, greens fee, pretty much the same, and then cart fees were down 35,000.
Yeah, that was the big
It's
thing.
almost a wash. Now, the reason for that is because we got rid of specials.
Yeah.
And every special included a cart.
Right.
So
Hey.
that's the reason.
Plus, we had less rounds, and a lot of those rounds could
We
have
had
been.
6,000 less rounds.
And out of that 6,000, what percentage would have taken a car, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just kind of goes hand in hand with the less
Yeah.
cart revenue.
Hey, Peter?
Why? And the reason why is probably because we didn't have specials. But I mean, the weather wasn't great here and there.
Right.
I don't know how many
Awful.
days we were closed for the year. You probably could tell us, Jared, but I don't know how many days there were no carts available, but.
Sebby, what? Go ahead.
Yeah, and Peter, I noticed that on the cart fees, 18 holes, 9 holes, where we got projected numbers, they got to be rounded up. Get those pennies out of there. The $1.51, 99 cents.
It is round.
I-
Yeah,
it is, yeah.
It is gonna be rounded, Sebby.
Okay,
I know that you're looking at 1951, right?
right,
Yeah.
and 11.99.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's gonna, what's that, that's probably gonna go up to like 1975 or something, right, for a
No, we
quarter?
have to figure in the tax. When you figure in the tax,
Yeah.
this is revenue.
Yeah.
Tax is not revenue.
Right.
This is revenue.
Right, so the
This is what you're taking.
1951 is less the tax, you put the tax on that, and it's gonna end up with a round number, correct, Jerry?
Oh, good, that's how you did it.
Yeah.
I really
Okay.
hope so, because we ran through a lot of change this year.
Well, that's why I asked Jerry today to make sure that we ask what happened to the cash drawer this year, because I know that you were going in for change a lot. So, and we, you know, if it's only quarters, we know that if it's 75, you're only gonna do quarters, but to do pennies, nickels, dimes, all that, and you took care of that, you said?
Yeah, if you figure the tax into the rate of a cart, it gets you to what, 2075?
2075, correct.
Yeah, so he's gotta give a quarter back if somebody pays by cash.
That's fine.
Okay.
Now, that's an 8.3% increase, Jerry, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
That,
that comment before was not true, just so we understand it. Where it's maxing out at 5%, that's an 8% increase. I mean,
no, there-
I'm not gonna nitpick this, but we gotta make sure we're on target with exactly what we're saying here.
Jim, on certain lines, like the carts, you're gonna see a bigger increase than you are in resident, non-resident. I have to do the increase in the carts, and I'm probably being conservative, knowing that our town is going out to bid or going out to renegotiate the gas contract come January, and we're looking at, my gosh, I forget what the percentage is, but a substantial increase in the cost of gas next year going forward. So, you know, we're being very conservative in our numbers here, looking at what we could potentially be paying for gas next year.
I just agree, I just think it's important to put, so when people look at it, if they're expecting 3%, they don't
That's-
see
that-
2.5
Well,
or
yeah, this
whatever.
is, you know, the 3 and 5, that's what the daily greens fees. It's got nothing to do with, you know, the
Well,
cart
but
fees.
it says it, when you
But
look.
that's not what it says.
Clarity,
I understand
I
what
do
you're
go
saying.
down
Yeah,
the
I understand, yeah, I
column.
understand.
You know
you're
what,
saying.
I think.
So I would just make it
I
like 2
understand,
to
I
8,
understand, yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Well, I think what would be better, is to create one more column over 21 versus proposed 22, and have the percentage going down each item, so this way here, there's total clarity, and then we just get rid of the titles that say plus 3% or whatever. And then those are exact, those would be exact percentages.
Yeah, and that's good, Mark, because the 5% for the adult unlimited non-residents, 5% is $69.75, not $40.
What do you?
So if you took 5%, all right, of what we have, what the increase is, it wouldn't be $40. It would be $69.75.
What is he talking about? I didn't hear.
I'm talking about the unlimited pass
For the
Non-resident?
unlimited?
Yeah, let me-
for the non-resident. And the same
Oh,
thing with the resident.
non-resident, okay.
Yeah, it should be $69.75 if it's 5%, but it's not. The $40 is 2.9%.
Oh, that's less than,
Yeah,
Residents.
that's roughly 3%, right?
Yeah,
yeah, but up on top, Peter, what he's trying to say is, it's presented as residents go up by 3% and non-residents go up by
No, I
5%.
get it.
yep. And that's not the case here.
Well, and that's why maybe we just eliminate that whole calculation method and give actual percentages in a separate column for each line item.
That would make it more clear.
Yep.
You know, all I'm trying to do is show you that I'm trying to give the residents a break.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to do. If it's 3 or 3.1 or 3.3, whatever. If it's 5 or 5.6, whatever. I also have to look at what other courses are charging,
Yeah, that was.
and I gotta stay in line with them. So
Right.
it's a fine line you walk that you say, okay, you had a good number when it came to non-resident seasons pass sales last year. Why? Because we went down.
That's right.
We went down substantially, and we sold more. So that's not a bad thing. So when I take everything into account, I can't jack my rates to the point I'm not competitive with the other courses, but I gotta cover my nut.
I understand.
So it may not be an exact 5%, 2%, whatever percent.
It doesn't
Can
have
we do
to be.
another column, put down the exact percent increase? Absolutely.
It's never
That's
been
easy.
exact for us.
That
That's
would be
easy.
helpful, that would be helpful.
But when you look at this, you have to also understand, nobody's got 2022 rates up yet. Nobody does. We're assuming they're all gonna go up because they have to, because everything's gone up. Insane. So it's really, it's not a crapshoot. There's a lot of thought that goes into this, but you gotta stay competitive, folks.
Absolutely.
You do. You
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah, when I kind of looked at it and I said, so based on, last year, I just took one particular category. I took like the non-resident weekend with a cart. And to me, it looked like that was about $64.50. The cart, the tax, cause you have to add in that $2 for CIP, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was about $34.50. So if I was a non-resident weekend with the cart, $64.50. And then under this, and I'm making an observation and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
confirmation, I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's gonna be $67.70. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, it could very well be, yeah.
Yeah, well, I just did that, so $64.50 to 60.
We were 6214 this year.
You were
That was our peak rate. weekend non-resident.
$62.14?
Yeah, with tax and everything,
Oh.
18 card and tax.
I must have did it wrong. So this year it'll be 67 unless I did something wrong there.
So with CIP, what will that come out to? Would that be like almost $70? Is that what you're thinking?
$68. I think if
68?
again, if I did it right. I did the $42.50 for the greens fees, $19.50 for the cart, $2 CIP, and $3.70 tax. I assume you don't tax CIP, you just tax
No.
the.
No.
And so that's 67.70, and you were saying last year market was 62.14.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
So we're going up $5.
Was that the category that went up quite a bit last year? 18-hole greens fees?
Quite a, yeah, I would say, yeah, there was quite a jump, yeah.
Mark, have you talked to any pros? With
Yeah, I
getting a
talked-
feeling for
I
what the
talked to
rates
the
are gonna be
pro
next year?
at Rockledge, he said they're likely going up on their season passes like $50 per pass. I don't know how that comes out to like their percentages,
Yeah,
but
see, I-
55?
We get so hung up, I
$50.
think we get too hung up on percentages, to be honest with you. I mean, $50, $75, whatever it is, but. How about like non-residents and stuff like that for, did they give you a hint?
he was
They
the
don't
only
do-
one I talked to. I didn't talk to anybody else.
Rockledge does not do resident.
Yeah, Rockledge doesn't have differentiate.
No, neither does Hunter.
Hunter doesn't?
Nope.
Hunter definitely doesn't. I'm not sure. Rockledge used to. I don't know if they changed that. They used
No,
to.
they don't differentiate. I know they don't.
Well, I just want to say, thank you. It's a lot of work to put this together. I'm sure you put a lot of thought and energy into it. You know, I'd be interested in your feedback, Mark's feedback, because you guys
Yeah,
are the
yeah,
experts.
yeah.
So Mark, I'm interested. Yeah.
Mark, I'd like to get Mark's feedback on a lot of this stuff too.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you think that, because right now, we're looking at 3% and 5%.
Ballpark, yeah.
Okay, you think 5% is a little high because, I mean,
I think it's, personally, I think it's what the market will bear and what's gonna get us to the number. We have to get to a number. So if you think 5 is too high, then you gotta take that down, but you gotta go up somewhere else.
well,
Here's
Mark,
the
I mean,
question I have is, do we want, there's two ways to go about this. We can increase the rates, and we did that last year, and we did 6,000 less rounds.
Yep.
Or we could try and get the volume back. There's two ways to go about this. We can jack up the rates, have less rounds, and still come out to the same revenue, or we can try and do it in volume. I mean,
Well, I think last year, the beauty of it, we lowered the rounds, but we increased the revenue, which to me is,
we didn't really increase the revenue, though. It's the same
I thought we,
year
well,
after year, because especially December, we're down 10 grand compared to last year.
well, I'm looking at through November.
Yeah, and we're $1,500 over last year.
Right.
That's nothing.
No, it isn't much, but to me, it's almost a break even
Yeah.
from last year, and we had less.
We did more revenue per round. That's the number, because we did less rounds and we did the same revenue.
Yeah.
But again, if we get to hit a revenue number, we need to increase the volume.
And there's the crapshoot that we run into year after year, right? The number. It's the same, you know, are you gonna hit that nut? So,
That's right.
Mark, is there any category that you saw less play because we increased the rounds?
It's hard to tell because it changed so significantly. Like, we did have a lot of categories before. You know, and we had a lot of we had specials. That's the big thing that went away, that we didn't have one special until this week. Well, we had airification specials and Father's, like some of the holidays we had. But that was the big change. But again, our revenue's right on point with last year, but we did not increase revenue that much, but revenue per round we did.
Right.
So I mean, my question is, do we wanna increase it with volume, or do we wanna increase it with price? And if you increase the price, you gotta better the product, period.
Yeah.
So I mean, we need to figure that out before we come up with a plan, I feel.
Yeah, and Mark, to that point, we're not gonna know until we find out what's gonna happen with, down below with the maintenance, whether or not we're gonna have, a company come in, and is there gonna be any savings with that?
Well,
Mark, I got a question.
Not to do it.
I mean, I don't know where they're headed with this, but if there is a savings, then we don't have to charge so much, because.
Right, exactly. That's where I'm going with that.
High number, but again, I don't know what's going on there.
No, I don't, no, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Jerry, can you tell me why we don't have specials? I mean, is there a problem with having specials?
Is there a problem with it?
Yeah,
There's a problem when your special becomes your rate. That's a problem. And that's what we did in the past. We went from the early bird special, early morning special, to the lunch special, to the twilight special,
Okay.
and on and on and on. Did we not?
So, in other words, now people are
So-
paying the regular rate.
So people are paying the regular rate.
We're
Okay.
just doing
Got it.
less.
And we didn't lose revenue.
We did less because we had a crappy July and August. That's
Yeah,
why
we
we
had
did
some-
less. We had 21 days in July that rained. We had rain
Yeah,
21
yeah, a lot
days.
of
in
You
July.
mean, wow.
How many days were we closed?
That I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know.
That's the key.
How many days did the carts not go?
That's what I'm.
That's what's
Right.
more important.
This-
Yeah, that's what you should know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, I got a question for you. Would, based upon your experience and being in the pro shop or as you are, would golf now have filled any, do we have, I guess the easiest way to say is, did we have a lot of open spots that just didn't sell?
No,
No?
we were full on nice days. I mean,
Okay, well then I think that answers that question and that we keep, kind of harping around it, like, do we lower it for more play? And can we handle more play? The real question is, can we handle more play and do we want more play? Right? I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
So,
that's the question that has to be answered.
direction you wanna go is to increase the rate, which is fine, but I just feel like we need to always better the product too, if we're gonna do that. And I mean, I have no problem, I mean, our golf course is awesome. We could charge $70 if it's pristine on the weekend. It's gotta be pristine on the
But it's
weekend.
gotta be pristine on the weekend. That means, yeah.
That's it. So, and if we don't have enough people to work, I mean, and keep it pristine, then we gotta figure it out. Where's our balance, basically?
I mean, I think I think, we went with Jerry's recommendation. It was a bold move in many ways to change it. In my opinion, I think it worked. You can't change something overnight, and a year is not a long time. I'm pretty supportive of kind of, again, I'm thinking you put a lot of time and energy and thought into this. Again, I would be interested in Mark's true feedback, and maybe you guys could sit down and, if you have some.
I just was under the impression when we went into this year, we went with this rate structure, that there was going to be either a weekly or a monthly check-in to see if we wanted to run specials, but there was nothing. There was nothing all year.
Yeah.
November 1st, I sent an email out. I wanted to run a special for the fall. The answer was no. Our revenue was down in November significantly. I feel like we lost there. I just tried with the input. Let's put it that way.
We had a lot of open tee sheets in November.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the revenue was down almost $20,000. A lot of season pass play, but
You're
not
right.
a lot of people paying $60 during the week to come play golf in November.
Right.
Yeah, we did talk about monitoring it closely, and I
We
assume
did.
that's happening.
It didn't get done.
I didn't see the need for it to get done, because I look at every day and I go to the parking lot and I see, I'm out on the course every single day, and I see when there's no holes that we're full. That's what I see. So if you wanna lower the rate in November, okay, does that mean more people are gonna come? Because if you lower the rate, cause and effect, they come, but at the end of the day, like Mark was saying, well, we did less rounds, but we made the same amount of money. So do you wanna
No, I
do more
understand
rounds
that.
and take in the same amount of money? I mean, Jim Norton makes a great point. Was the tee sheet full? Yes, it was.
In November, it
Okay.
wasn't.
Okay, in November it wasn't. But if we were lowered at $5, would they have come? I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know.
The
Is
le-
$5
They
gonna
have
make
year
you
after
go play?
year.
When no one else is doing it, why?
I guess
why?
we shouldn't do it then.
No, I mean, if no one else is selling it for $40 and they're still getting a full gold rate, then what am I gonna cut my rates for? Why don't we give it away?
Well, I guess you define give it away. I don't think cutting, a rate by 5 or 8 or whatever the dollar amount that might have been recommended.
It's November, folks.
Is, yeah, I know, but
It's
it's,
November.
I brought that up at the last meeting about cutting the rates, and you said to me that, is there anybody else out there doing it? But the thing is, why do we need to wait for somebody else? We should be jumping the gun before then.
It's not waiting to see what someone else is gonna do, it's do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but you're not
okay?
gaining
So you
anything
gotta
that
look
way.
at you gotta take everything into account, Jim.
I know, but
You're
you're
not
not-
just sitting there saying, well, Stanley got lower, they're already.
No, but I don't, but that's the point.
It's not tit for tat.
You know, you don't look at somebody else, what they're gonna do, we're gonna do. Because we're gonna get the revenue and the care less about them.
So we're gonna get it?
So we jump the gun before they jump it. And that's why the point is, that's why I brought it up last time, did we have a special? No, he says no, because the parking lot was full. But when you looked at that parking lot, who was there? It was the people that have the season pass, or it was somebody across town,
Yeah.
from Rocky Hill
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Portland?
yeah.
So we don't know that. He's got the information on that, because he's in the office. He
Yeah.
sees what's coming through that register.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So-
what I look at it.
So my suggestion is next year, bang it down in November and see what happens.
Try it.
No, there's no way we're gonna commit to a date, no way.
No, I'm saying if we say we're going to monitor it closely, that, based on this meeting now, right? So now we have the quote-unquote November subject,
Yeah.
right? So now that we know that November was down significantly, the weather wasn't terrible in November either.
No.
No, it wasn't.
Okay?
No,
So-
not at all.
So now what we could probably do is come next year, we look at it, we start to look at the numbers and we throw a special out there and see what happens. What do we have to lose, Jerry?
No, Peter, I agree with that. I think you're spot on with that one. I think part of this is a lack of communication between, Jerry and Mark, part of what was going, especially if there's open T sheets, right? I mean, it's self-evident.
If there were a lot of them, now, if the T sheet is full, then why, why? But if there's large gaps and most of the play is season pass holders, maybe we do reduce it $5, see what happens. According to Mark, they'll come, and based on past seasons, that if our number's down this year in November versus any other past year, then maybe there is some truth to that. So if we.
Hey, Mark, are we talking weekend or during the week?
You'd have to really break it down, but to just put it simple, we did 1,200 less rounds this November than last November. That's
Yeah,
significant.
that's a lot.
That's a lot of rounds.
Add up the revenue per round.
Now-
That comes out to a lot of money.
But, I mean, and let's not forget though, that the goal so far, until we're told otherwise, is to match revenue with expenses. They're not expecting us to make $1 million, they're expecting us to break even, right, which we're doing right now, right? So, if this becomes a necessity to be a profit center, then all of this stuff that we've done from here since the past is all changed, everything has to change. But, I mean, I don't see a problem with at least trying something next year come this time, if we start to see the drop in,
How about just any time though?
well, anytime, yeah.
It should be really just any time.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
should
we're
just
using
be-
November because
That was the
November is a
case, yeah.
significant one.
Well, part of it is like, like Jim Norton said, a communication thing, but it's also a process thing. I mean, basically, you made a recommendation, so our process is you make a recommendation, and Jerry's the final decision maker, and we actually don't get input because we only meet once a month. And so if that email, which you may have sent, the beginning of November, we don't even meet until the third week of the month, so the month's over before this discusses it. So I don't know what a suggested different, if there is, a different process. But to me, that's,
Honestly, this is between Mark and Jerry. We really,
Yeah, yeah.
we can only
that's, I
advise
would
and,
agree with that.
and give our opinion, but
I-
this is really.
So they have to sit at the table and
This is
figure this
between
out.
Mark and Jerry, we
I
can only
tend to
suggest.
I think you hit the nail on the head. There needs to be a better process,
I
because
agree.
there's no process.
And
It's just, I'll have to just think of it, send it to him, and that's the process. I mean, and that's not a great process.
And Mark,
Of this
So that's what I'm
checklist,
hearing, and I don't know what that process.
Sebby, yes, Seb.
there is no process.
yeah, again, I hate to be a broken record, but we're not sure how this is gonna play out next year until we get some answers on what's gonna happen. Because this could all change and there might be different people that we're gonna have to deal with.
But he didn't.
But it has nothing to do with this.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Stephanie, what does that have to do with this, though,
Right.
seriously?
Well, maybe Jerry's not gonna be in the picture. Who knows?
Well, no,
What
it's
does that
still,
have-
you still
what
have to
does that
cover.
have to do with- What does that have to do with our task at hand now, though? I mean, the rates are, the ordinance isn't gonna change.
No,
Peter-
I'm saying what Jerry did is fantastic. I like it, the way he came up with the numbers and everything. I'm not disagreeing with that. All right. What I'm saying is that next year you're saying, hey, it's gonna be between Mark and Jerry. Well, what if
Well-
Jerry's not in the picture?
Yeah, okay, but it's going to be between,
Somebody,
it's not, let's put it this way, it's not gonna be the commission. How's
right?
that?
I agree.
Okay, so, is that better?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna be the commission.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, while I got the floor here, I think we need to meet in the summertime. We missed 2 meetings this year in the summertime, which is prime time for golf. At least we should meet once to find out how things are going.
Personally, I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Peter,
You're absolutely right.
Peter, can I make a recommendation here? That
Uh,
Mark, can you take a look at this stuff? I mean, we can all digest this even more. This doesn't have to be given to the town council until when, Jerry?
Well, Kevin's in possession of it now, he'll go to council in February.
Okay, so we can have another meeting.
We have a
We
January
can have-
meeting, we could call a special meeting, above and beyond that too, Jim.
Yeah, all right, so Mark, can you take a look at this thing, kind of chew on it a little bit? And then, get your input into this thing too, because operating in a bubble sometimes doesn't, you may give away the once in a while, but for the most part, no, And I understand that we have to cover our costs, but I like another perspective, Mark's perspective on this thing too, since he sees what's going on day in and day out.
I mean, just looking at it first, I think it's good. I think some back end things we need to change. Like, I don't feel we need to give golf now 2 barter times. Like, we should have online capabilities, but that's only 1 time, trade time we should give them instead of 2. So that's 1 time a day we can fill. I mean, I think there's things along those lines that we can increase in revenue. I'll give everybody my ideas. I think the structure of this is good. I kind of like the 3 and 5%, so the residents get a little bit of a break on top of the discount they already get. I think you take care of the residents if you can. So, this whole structure is good. It probably just needs to be fine-tuned a little on the, so you can explain it properly. But, one of the things that I just look at what's down, right? Our cart revenue's down. We went to a punch card that's 10 for the price of 8, when it used to be 6 for the price of like 5. So essentially, we're giving away 1 extra cart this year than we did previous years.
Yeah.
So I just look at things like that. So we're down in cart revenue. Yeah, it rained a lot, but I think that's a way we can make up for that as well. So just looking quickly, there are little things I think we can do, but the structure of this looks to be pretty good.
Are more people walking, Mark?
What's that?
Are more people walking, or is that, not the norm? People taking carts?
I don't
Is that
think
the
so.
norm now? People
I think
take-
it's just strictly the number of rounds. We did 6,000 less rounds. Even 50% of those are cart rounds.
Right.
That's gonna bump up the fee. So I
Okay.
think it's the number of rounds,
Okay.
not the number of walkers.
Yeah. I do see a lot of people out there with the remote carts. There are a lot of them out there now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mark, there was a, I don't know, never mind.
I think we should have a special meeting, because I think that, if we wait until January and our regular meeting, it can be a long meeting, so maybe trying to have a special meeting.
Well, we're gonna have, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some sort of special meeting after Tuesday, right, Jerry? So if we're gonna have a special meeting, then I don't wanna have two special meetings before January, so maybe we could combine
Yes.
rates
Would
and,
that be executive session, Peter?
No,
no,
No?
no. No, well, for the opinions of after.
Yes.
No, no, that's all out in the open. I mean, so, at least to my knowledge, it's not executive session. If it is, well, then we would do rates, and then we would go into executive session for the Brightview stuff. I'll clarify that with, whether or not that special meeting is a public or executive session for that portion of it.
Aren't most meetings public meetings?
Most are, yeah, but there are certain subjects that, have to go to executive that,
Right.
like,
Usually personnel issues.
personnel and stuff like that, so I don't know about
don't
before,
want us to wait.
that's a good question, Jim. Before you,
Yeah.
before you award a contract, can you publicly speak? I don't know, so we'll find out. But, there definitely needs to be a meeting where, I mean, if we hear something, like they're gonna do X, Y, Z, and we have a problem with that, we're not gonna tell them that night that we have a problem with that, right? We're gonna address the decision makers that we have a problem with that, right? So that's.
That's why I'm thinking, yeah, that's why I was thinking, maybe there has to be an executive session where you can, I mean, sometimes you have to be able to talk freely.
Oh, yeah.
Behind closed doors.
I mean, listen, as far as this subject goes, we better talk freely. If there's something that bugs you, yeah.
Oh, no, I got no problem with that, but I'm just,
Well, I know you don't.
Bring it out.
And nobody does, and that's good, it should be that way. But, yeah, we'll find out the executive session question, okay?
thank you.
So, next steps is we'll let Mark digest this, talk with Jerry, come back with a revised one or the same one, and whatever. What do you think? Sound good? I mean, to me, this isn't far off at all, and now we can put a little frosting on the cake, and like Mark says, we need to give 2 times the golf now with the rev, with the way things are. And, and specials have nothing to do with this, right? So, those could be brought on at any time, and yeah, let's see if we can't do I know we're short-staffed, but we have to figure out a way where you two guys get together at least twice a month to just go over stuff exactly like this.
They're weekly. I thought you guys would meet like every Monday morning or something like that.
I'm just saying maybe bi-monthly, just so, because that may be a little more realistic, but, yeah, we're getting there for sure. There's a couple things we can do better as a team, so. Anything else? Anybody?
I just wanna say again, I brought the 3 RFPs with me, they are here,
Oh, you
you
did?
can look at them.
Oh,
Because I called Marissa and I asked, and I said, did anybody come and look, sit down? No one has.
no,
So it's not gonna get emailed, folks.
no.
It's not gonna get scanned,
Well,
so
thank you for doing that.
they're here.
Okay,
They're not gonna be scanned?
But,
They're not gonna be scanned and emailed to the commission, no, they're not.
no, I wouldn't.
Hey, Jerry,
You know,
are you gonna have those in your office tomorrow morning?
I sure am.
Can I stop in and take a look at them?
You're more than welcome to, Seb, I welcome it.
Thank you.
Can I ask, why can't we scan them? Why can't we sit down and why do I have to go to your office for an hour or 2 hours and sit down and start comparing proposals? What is the reason?
When I spoke with Marissa, the way some of them, or a couple of them, they were bound, just like a book is bound. There's no way they're destroying the book, they're not. And for her to take and scan and email all 3, it would take her a day. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. They've never done that, so.
so
That's not to say in the future the town doesn't go to a system where it is
Like,
available
They're
online.
going digital, they're gonna go.
They are going
Right
digital.
now-
But they're not
right
there
now-
yet.
Right now, we're not there, you know, we're not there,
So-
so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, so the three that you have,
yeah.
you're gonna go with the lowest bidder, right?
We're bringing in a interview
Okay, interview, okay.
with the lowest.
So the other two that didn't step up to the plate,
You know,
why did they not step up to the plate? You know, I need to look, like, I feel like, okay, they didn't step up to the plate because the bid that you have, was out there was higher than,
First of all, this is off topic.
okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
So
Peter,
I don't,
Peter,
I don't wanna get in trouble.
I'll leave it, okay, I'll leave it alone. I'll leave
Because
it
this
alone.
has,
I'll leave it
this
alone.
wasn't on the agenda.
No, I'll leave it alone.
and I'm doing this because I want you all as well informed as you can be before next Tuesday. I really do. And if you have any questions that I can answer, I'll be happy to help, you know, but like I said, I want you guys to be able to sit there and understand what the hell these people are saying when they say it. And to ask them
Questions, yeah.
intelligent
Are
questions.
they still at the town hall as well?
Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Yes, they are.
So there's a copy at the town hall and here, Jerry, can I make a recommendation to you that you kind of pass that along? Next time you do this, always ask for an electronic copy in addition to the paper copy. For this reason,
I don't know.
like a PDF.
I don't think that's Jerry's call, that's the town.
Yeah.
No, I know, but he could pass that along to procurement.
Yeah, I think, Jim, like I was saying, I think they're working towards that. I don't know that we're.
No, they're going towards something, yeah, they're going towards something where it's on the state website, where you just upload it
Yeah.
electronically.
Yeah, and that's. you
But
know,
that's separate and above. Until they get there, you can
yeah.
always say electronic and paper. For this very reason.
Yeah, I think, Jim, as you know, working at the state, that we're going in that direction. I could see that coming in the next, year or two. Yes, I could see that happening.
They can implement that
Right now, we're
tomorrow.
just not there yet. I'm sorry, Jim? I can't.
Yeah, Jim, Bujala, do you have something to say?
No, I'm good at the moment.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else regarding rates or CIP? Everybody got the profit and loss, right?
Yes,
It kind of falls in line with what we were talking about.
yeah, I just have a question. I know this one comes from Kevin Delaney. Who generates this?
That was Mark. Mark did that.
So what, you do this every month?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, anything else on the P&L? Okay, hearing none. T-sign account, $9,439.63,
Still there.
okay? CIP budget balance, $44,592.83.
What's the plan with this, T-sign account?
It's a good question.
Oh, we can talk about that?
Yeah.
So I sent, Jerry a draft, but we can't talk about, I guess we couldn't distribute it because this was a special meeting.
Correct.
So I sent him a draft of a document and a proposed budget, what we've collected, the cost of the clock, the cost of the insulation, the cost of a and it's a budget, it's approximate, and he's just gonna confirm those, correct me if I'm wrong. And then my goal would be to bring it to this group, and then from this group, go to the town council and ask for, it came out to like $3,400, $4,000, if all our numbers work out about right, that we would be asking the town to put towards the clock, since we weren't able to have a celebration, and we would wanna take the money for that, and then recognize the sponsors. And then his response was, we might have to present it to audience as citizens.
That'll be your
which-
first step, yeah.
Well, but I guess I'm wondering why it wouldn't be presented to Aroche ahead of time so that it could be on the agenda, because to me, audience as citizens, and maybe you could ask them next time you speak to them, or when we send it to them, because I can send it to them before, we can send it to them once this group sees it before audience as citizens. I get the impression that you go to audience as citizens, the council has no idea who's coming in front of audiences of citizens, and I think it would be helpful if they had an understanding of the document before.
Well, that's the whole idea behind the audience, so that you go there and make them aware it's coming. You're not going there and putting it on their agenda and saying, well, I want $4,000 to put up a clock. So when I spoke with Kevin Delaney, and then he said, that would be the way to go, would be to go to audience of citizens, present your case, and say, look, we're looking to get, let's pick up $5,000 to subsidize this project.
And then they would
And
put
then
on
they
a
would
future
say- and then,
agenda.
okay, now they're aware of it, so we're gonna be, putting something together and submitting it to you. Then you would, then it would go on their council agenda, so that when they get it, they're like, oh yeah, Gail was here and we talked about this, and,
Is a donation out of the question for that $4,000?
Exactly.
No, it's not, but
Okay. That's it, you answered the question.
yeah, I mean, I think we take the money wherever it comes from.
All
Peter,
right,
what are you thinking on that one, from the town?
well, no, I'm just asking if that, the $4,000, if that could be reduced by donations, then
Oh, sorry.
that was my question.
Yeah,
But-
well, it could be reduced by anything, but who's gonna go and get that money?
You don't know.
We'll raise
I
it.
was just asking the question.
We'll raise it.
Well, we raised over $11,000.
Okay, Jerry, your report?
okay. So, first bullet, we completed the FY '23 budget, and I'm very
What
happy.
was the what was the CIP?
We're about the CIP.
Well, you gotta, before, previously, we talked about, a plan, going out 1, 3, 5, 10. And, everybody kind of got looked at, I kind of seemed dumbfounded, but I sent something out there that John Zook sent me and probably everybody else that we discussed. And we still haven't seen anything, Jerry. I mean, we talked about this like 3 or 4 times already, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What is the plan going forward? If we're looking at this thing going forward, nothing's changing, but you still need a CIP plan, right? So
Yeah,
what are
so
your,
what-
I mean, the one that you have in front of you that I emailed to everybody, kind of lays everything out. I mean, do you have something similar to that?
Not anything close to that, no. No, I do not. I have it, but not anything close to that, no.
Well, then
So
how are we planning out what we're doing?
I'm sorry, Jim?
How are we gonna plan out what we're doing? I mean,
At the
obviously,
next-
everything
at the next
is,
meeting- at the next-
changes, but
I
you have to
will-
have something down there to go by, no?
Yes, at the next meeting, I will present the plan to all of you. You could look at it, tell me I'm full of whatever, and, change things. I'm very easy to work with.
No, I'm just, it has nothing to do with your full, there, we're just looking for a plan, because I look at it this way
We'll
too.
have it at the next-
On 17,
I mean, I have it, but I'm not gonna distribute it here, but, there is a plan. Is it close to what you emailed, an hour ago? No, it's not. No, it's not.
like on 17, I mean, we're talking about using the lower Ts, and that's great, but I'm just looking at this, are we the way that's, I don't know how that's gonna work out, and has anybody looked at that from the town to say, we may have an accident coming down here, making a hard turn this way, or turning that way, or walking that way. I mean, we do want to use the lower Ts, because I think I do think it gives it a whole different perspective. But, for safety reasons, it's, as far as the grade goes, and like Jimmy working for DOT, I mean, there's certain things that you want to be aware of prior to just putting something in there, right?
So what I'll do, like I said, next meeting, everyone will get the 3, 5, 10-year plan, and you could look at that, and you guys can prioritize. If you think that that's number 1 on the list, we'll look at that. I'll tell you, yes, I agree, or no, I don't. If I don't, why I don't. And then we'll work together, and we'll make it happen over the next few years. That's the only way it's gonna get accomplished. You're right, Jim. You gotta have a plan going forward. You do. You can't just make it up on the fly. And, the past is the past. I'm not gonna live in the past. But going forward, you're right, Jim, and we will. And then we'll work together to say, hey, this is the priority.
Perfect.
This is where we get the best bang for our buck. And go from there. That's all I could say. You're right. I agree with you.
And all that could change next month?
And that can all change.
Yeah, well, no matter what, no matter what, there's still, CIP is CIP. It still has to happen, right? I mean, we still have to continue making improvements. I mean, the bridges, we talked about the bridges too. I mean, there's a lot of work that has to be done. There really is, but no matter what happens, it's gonna have to happen, right? We still have to have a
Well,
plan.
Something in
But was
here.
that in the RFPs to these outside firms?
Go ahead.
Peter?
What's that?
That's heavy.
CIP, was that in the RFP, indicating that, they were gonna be responsible for CIP if they do come in?
Nope.
Okay, answer my question.
Not to my knowledge.
All right, so real quick, I just want to make everyone aware that when you do less rounds, you do less CIP money. I just want everybody to know that.
That's
Yep.
true.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
Good point.
So I just want you to keep that in mind when we balance this out. 50,000 rounds, that's absurd. That's way too many. It's a lot of traffic, but when we're between 40 and 45, that's good. If we start getting underneath that, we lose CIP money, which means no improvements, so.
Yep, good point.
Sir. Okay, Jerry, are we good? With CIP, he's gonna have a plan next month, Jim? Good?
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jerry?
All right, so getting back to the budget, so when you look at the budget for FY '23, I'm up 0.6, Jim, I'm up 0.6 in my budget over last year. I was gonna round it down to 0.5, but we're up 0.6% over last year's budget, which I'm pretty happy with, being that, the increases we're going to incur in a lot of the line items, so I think that's working out. That worked out extremely well, which helped us keep the rates in check. Any questions with that? The budget or whatever?
Well, we don't have a detailed budget.
We don't have it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Annually, I have to generate the chem report for DEEP. That's done and submitted to DEEP. Continuing to work with town manager and finance with the RFPs. You all know about the meeting on the 21st. Again, I encourage all of you to be there and ask questions. It's the only way you're gonna get the answers, so.
Is that an open meeting?
It's an open, the council, you,
Audience of
Public,
citizens?
anybody.
Is it gonna
anybody.
be advertised in the paper, do you know?
It'll be on the website,
Website,
it'll be
yeah.
posted. Yeah,
Good, okay, thank you.
yeah. I spoke with Lindsay from Golf Now. We're gonna get together after January 1. Mark will obviously be intimately involved with that to reevaluate the relationship we have with them. And next month I'll be going to my continuing education for CAGCS down in Groton to earn my credits to maintain my license. Finalized the early order chem purchase, that's done, so we've got chemicals coming next year at a substantial savings. All right, golf course, irrigation is winterized. I've been through the system, and I've identified all the issues that are currently out there, made up a list so that we know, we'll probably actually start fixing some, so long as the ground stays open. Some of the issues that we're having out there, electrical issues. So those have, that list has been generated, and we'll start working to repair those. Obviously, we took the tent down, leaves are done. We put down the first snow melt treatment on the greens. Started to top dress the tees with sand. Something new I'm trying, hopefully it'll do a couple things. It'll help amend the soil that's currently there, which is a heavy clay soil, and also any slight imperfections over time should start to iron those out. We may, I'm not gonna even say that the aerification, I'm not, looking at the forecast, I'm not even gonna go there, I don't think. We'll worry about that next spring. We're looking to sand the greens next week. I may go out tomorrow and sand the flagpole and the nursery green just to get a little bit of a head start. But being that our last day is gonna be Friday, we're gonna start Monday and or Tuesday, depending on the weather, and start sanding the greens. They started washing the equipment, and that's actually been completed in preparation for the winter service. And if you've been playing, you've seen the work we've been doing up on 16, 17. We took out a number of trees there, took out the stumps. Whole idea behind that is to clean up that area, it was really a mess. And maybe do like a small berm on the left-hand side of the cart path from 16 to 17, maybe do some plantings in there. As well as finish that cart path and tie the two together between 16 and 17 instead of having the dirt that's currently there and the dirt going around the birch tree. Let's just finish that cart path, curb it, and clean up that area so it's all grass and no dirt. Again, the wire path issues with the irrigation. We had some issues blowing out. We had a couple of bad surge protectors. Those have been identified and replaced, so we're up and running again going into next year. And scheduling the winter maintenance of the golf carts.
Gee, one thing, the water cooler out front by the shed here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been damaged and somebody donated that, I would assume, because there's a plaque on it?
I don't know if they're, I don't know.
I mean, because it's been damaged and it haven't been repaired yet.
Oh, we can move it. We tried to move, we can move it. I just haven't had time to get some stone and put it underneath and plumb it. I
Okay.
can plumb it.
And one other thing is, I had one of the customers come and say that on number 10,
Yeah.
there's a
the
tree
beach.
there that needs
Yeah.
to be cut because of,
Yeah,
you know, they got a plaque
yeah,
there.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
it needs to be cut up.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Hey, Jerry, in reference to the meeting next Tuesday, if I understand, it's going to be in the community center. And if it's going to be if it's going to be open to the public, I think we need a bigger room. I think they should go for the audit.
You should be able to Zoom.
Put
Oh,
your-
there's-
That meeting, just so you know, I didn't skip, that's TOB, okay?
Sebby,
so-
I mentioned that to Christie.
Yeah,
She's the administrative assistant for Arosha. I
Okay.
says, I think that's gonna be a little small, and she says, well, she's accommodating for 30 people. So I don't know how they're gonna set up the room, if they're gonna have rows of chairs or what, but again, this is not our. this
yeah,
is-
okay. All right, it was just a recommendation, just a suggestion.
I brought that up to her too. I says, I fear that that room is gonna be small, but, so.
Yep,
If they're spilling outside the doors, then something's gonna have to be done, I don't know.
and I agree with you, Peter. With the increase in productivity rate, I think that's a small room.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wear a mask.
Okay,
Right. Wear your mask.
yeah, Mark?
All right, just run through my report here. I attached the revenue and round comparison report to last year. And just looking at the December numbers today, it's just gonna be really close in terms of the revenue we generate. The rounds will be down, but the revenue pretty much right in line with where we were last year. And I mean, just going back 10 years, both these years, you know, this year and last year, were significantly higher than any other year we've had for 10 years. So, I mean, we've definitely increased revenue since 2020. In November, we changed the starting times depending on the forecast, and we kept communicating via email. And we did that frequently when we were open and closed throughout November and December. Beginning of December, on a slow day in the golf shop, I got ADM certified. This is the American Development Model. This is something the PGA put out there to coach kids of any age, all the way until they're 18, and there's different stages of development. And I thought it was very good education. And next year, I'd like to balance out my instruction schedule and really focus on the junior program, and make that really my specialization. I've been in contact with Golf Now regarding our business with them, and like Jerry said, we're gonna meet with Lindsay and discuss that. I already kind of planted the seed with her to let her know that I don't feel like we're utilizing them to the full capacity. Whether we wanna do more with them or less, that's to be decided, but I think that, my personal opinion is there's a lot of, bookings before things become available online because of our tea time policy, so we're really not utilizing their capabilities. We do use their point of sale system, and we've been using that since 2011, so that's probably something the town will wanna continue with. So we'll just speak to, her on all that. Once again, I'm beginning to sell gift cards. I don't know how we stand with talking with finance on that, but, it'd be nice to offer them online. I've mailed out probably 10 or so gift cards, but the only time they can purchase them is if I'm in there and I answer the phone, and I do it over the phone, and then I mail it out. So if it's after 4 p.m., they're not getting anything, and I think people like to shop after 4 p.m. online. So I think that that is something we really need to do in the spring, and just have that capability. It's worth whatever the 3 to 5% that we give up. I think we'll make more on the back end, so.
Excuse me, Mark. Can't they sign up for classes and stuff online as a town? Right?
I mean, the adult ed.
Yeah, for anything in town,
I
you
don't
should be
know.
able to, you could probably go and register your child and pay for a program online. So we have the technology, why can't we do this? We talked about this for the last 3 years.
We have talked about.
I know. I mean, I don't know, who should I talk to on that? I mean, I talked to John, then I talked to you.
No, I spoke to Kevin,
Okay.
and, you know, like you said, Mark, you know, they're looking at, well, your credit card fees are gonna go up, but, so they go up.
They're gonna go up anyway,
Right.
because they're getting a gift certificate with a charge card at the golf course, so what,
So,
that makes no sense.
Over the phone, I mean, they're still getting whacked a credit card fee.
right,
So
I mean, this is 2021, for crying out loud.
it's
22.
it's very simple. I just need to talk
That's
to
right.
somebody to maybe present it to them.
Hey, Mark, are we gonna have the ability next year to scan my card and then go in and use my phone to scan rather than handing the card to you guys?
I think we went down that road last year, and I don't think the scanner that we have scans phones unless they change to a newer model, which that's a problem. That thing keeps going down, so that needs to be checked over the winter, but
Yeah.
we've tried
I mean-
scanning phones with that, like, barcode scanner, and it didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. But maybe
Is
there's
that-
a newer one we can do
Yeah.
instead of having the key fob, but we need to get something working in there.
Is that something that we could talk to the IT department in the town?
Yeah, absolutely.
And while we're
Is that a
talking-
town scanner, Mark, or is that a,
While we're talking to the IT department, can they please come in and fix that PC on the front desk? Because the monitor is always yellow.
well, he's coming in once we close, he's.
Thank
gonna-
you.
he's
Yeah.
gonna-
Thank you.
Just let me know when. I'll show them
He's
whatever
gonna do a bunch of work
issues
himself.
we have.
Excellent.
I know everything looks yellow to me now.
Well, yeah. it's-
Thank you, Mark.
Oh yeah, thank you, Seth. I wrote this report before we decided to close, but we have decided to close for the season, and I sent out a blast email today. I need to update the automated voice message system, and I think we definitely went longer this year than we did last year by a few days. Some years we closed December 1st, so I think we got a few extra weeks in, which is good. T sheet the next 2 days it's full, so we should generate some last minute revenue. I started working on the 2022 calendar. The women's club and lady Niners, I have their schedules. I'm just waiting on the senior men's club, and then I'll bring them to the next meeting. So all those schedules have been done, and there's a couple new tournament committee members in the men's and the women's club, and they've been wonderful to work with. Moving on to successes and challenges. Working with Bill Pager, I want to give him some credit. I've worked with him on these frost delays for the last however many years, and he's great. He communicates well. He always wants to get the people out on the golf course as quickly as he can. We've shotgunned, we've gone off split tee, and I mean, I don't think he gets enough credit, so I want to do it here while we're on the record. And just let everybody know that communicating with him with frost delays has been great. And this is a difficult thing because none of us have the crystal ball to know when the frost will be gone, but we certainly have worked well together on that. The phone is still a little bit of an issue. People call and instead of the busy signal, they get the voice message box not set up message. I know that's our busy signal, but they always call back and say, oh, your voicemail box isn't set up yet, or something, and they, there's just gotta be a way to have a busy signal, there has to be, but, I mean, I know that Comcast said there wasn't. We gotta maybe talk about it this winter, maybe Jerry and I can talk about that and come up with the best solution, even if it means like having multiple lines and putting people on hold, but, that's just an issue, I get it all the time from people.
It doesn't make us look very good, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the part I really don't, I know that's our busy signal, but the customer hears
Doesn't
that,
know
they
that.
think like our phone system's down,
Correct.
and when we tell them that's our busy signal, they're like, well, they never heard that
So,
before.
so Mark,
I can't believe that they can't generate a busy signal if the phone's in use. I just can't believe it.
who do you deal with at Comcast?
What's the
I don't
guy's
have a
name?
dir- I don't
That's
know.
going web.
Do you just call the 800 number and you get whoever's on the phone?
No, this is business, this is,
All right.
There's gotta be a service rep of some sort, I would think.
Yeah,
There is, and I spoke with him last fall about this, and,
Well, I know, no, I know, we're doing, I mean,
and I agree
You
with
guys are
Mark.
doing
I
your
agree
due
with him, And I
diligence.
think, he and I, get the guy on the phone while he and I are there, cause he uses it day in and day out, and he can explain. I mean, that's what he told me, I explained the situation numerous times, and, they said, no.
there's no way that that's not doable.
Yeah.
You give me his contact, I'll be happy to call him.
Trust me, there's no way that's not doable.
That's right, because this is a business.
All right, just moving along, one of the things we do that's great at Timberland on weekends is the shotgun start in November. I've had a lot of people comment on how that's awesome, because some other golf courses, and I couldn't even believe this when I heard this, but if you had an 8 o'clock tee time on a Saturday, and the frost delay lasted till 8:20, you lost your time.
Oh, that's
And I was like,
God.
how have you not had the cops called? It's like, that's insanity.
Terrible.
So, it really worked out great. We actually hosted one, the Connecticut Amateur Golf Tour came 3 times in November because we had the shotgun. So,
And carts were required.
Yeah, and I
gotta
made-
say. Mark
I did
made him take a cart.
make it
Which is
mandatory.
genius.
I just told them it's
Yeah.
a shotgun and we appreciate it if they all went out in carts. So, but either way, that's something we do that, I don't know if anywhere else does that. And I mean, we've been doing that since I think they were doing that before I even got there. And it's a great thing. I'm surprised other courses don't do it. So I just want to mention that, how good that is, and hopefully everybody feels the same.
Agreed.
That's good.
Customer satisfaction, I mean, every now and then we get a negative review, but for the most part, if you look at our reviews, they're all good, they're all positive. Here and there, we get a negative one, but that's gonna happen with all those people we have every year. I'm gonna start working on the 2022 staffing once I know what's going on, because, I don't know what direction the town's gonna head with the cart attendants, because they are town employees currently. So I'm not really sure after all this what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna wait until probably January, February. Hopefully we know by then, to start calling for cart attendant staff.
I have a staffing question.
Yep.
It kind of relates to the rates. How much would a ranger cost if we added a ranger for the year? Or based on how many, the peak hours where we need a ranger during the week? Or
Like
in-
40 hours a week-ish?
No, I don't know. I don't
But
know what
that's
that
what-
number
but
is.
yeah.
I don't know what that number is.
Probably 40.
Ballpark, you would need it probably 8 hours weekend days.
Yeah.
And then I think probably 4 to 6 each weekday. But again, I like having the person,
$20,000 no.
I like having the person there at
40K.
night, is what I like.
Mhm.
I like, I'm talking about during the week.
Yeah.
The leagues go out there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also just, people try to sneak on. We've had this
Well,
problem
I
many
mean,
times.
we all know what goes on in the mornings. with carts.
Oh, being too close to the greens and stuff, so that's a different animal.
Yes.
Yeah, and then-
But, I mean, because, I mean, do we suggest that we work that number into the budget somehow?
Well, I would say this, we should probably see how much that would cost, but versus having the carts with the GPS boundaries.
Right.
Because that would solve that problem.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's the way to go, Mark. That is
I mean,
definitely the way to
you
go.
should probably weigh the two costs.
What I
That's
saw
it.
yesterday was beyond.
What happened, Peter?
I can only imagine what goes on out there.
There was a group that I won't mention. They were on the first hole. They finished the first hole, so they drove just to the left of the left bunker on the green side bunker. And then they drove down the hill behind the green to get
Oh
to
my
the
God.
gold tee. To
I've
get to the
seen
gold
somebody
tee.
do that.
Down that steep hill?
And based on the dirt path, I'm sure that happens every round that they play. There were other individuals on the 17th that were between the green and the right bunker, green side. Again, players that play very, very often. So, you know, it's the golfers that play here the most that abuse it the most because they know that they have free reign. And I know I'm a stickler on this, but I love Timberland, and these cards are chewing up areas that shouldn't be getting chewed up.
And Peter, I agree with you because I've seen it out there too. And the way to solve that issue is what Mark is suggesting is get that chip, and then you control it.
Yep.
I think the chip is a good option.
I said it
Because
last
a
meeting.
ranger can't be in every place at every moment either.
Right.
Plus now you're bringing in a human and you gotta have the right human being to do the job.
Correct.
We need to get a solid price on that chip thing so that we
Yeah.
can really.
There are a lot of
seriously
companies
look
that
at
do
it.
it now. So it has to obviously work with the cart we have. I think that was one of the issues in the past was it was like you had to have electric. There wasn't like a gas.
Yeah, and Mark, thank you for sending out the note on the carts, the different facilities that have different brands of carts.
Oh, yeah.
Is Easy Go at the bottom of the barrel?
I can't tell you why.
Most cost effective.
I can't tell you why. I mean, again, I don't know what it costs. I think that EasyGo came in the low bid last time, didn't they, or something?
One of them,
By a
the
lot.
one we have came in the middle.
You know, but Club Car seems to be the one that's most popular throughout all the courses in Connecticut.
But we
Easy-
can't
but
do electric.
EasyGo is probably the quietest and has the most.
Jay, when are,
We used to have electric, but
When
we
are
had to
the,
tow
carts
them
up?
and
23.
I don't think that's feasible.
I've already started talking to them. I actually tried, I brought EasyGo in, trying to get out of our lease early, and that's not gonna happen. I spoke with Yamaha last week, he stopped, and we were talking about the carts, GPS and so forth. And I asked them, because I agree with Mark, I agree with all of you, that GPS is the way to go. And Mark makes a good point. You can't have one guy in all places at every minute of the day. So he didn't give me a firm number, but he said it's very expensive. They have two systems, and this is again Yamaha. I didn't speak with Club Car. Club Car, my problem with Club Car, just maybe it's me, they're aluminum frames. When aluminum frames break, you can't weld them, you can't send it to a welder. They're not as strong as a steel frame cart. Our carts, they use them. I'm just gonna
So-
say it like that, they use them.
yeah, so then,
So if the frame were to break and it's above and beyond normal
Okay.
wear and tear, you know, they're gonna say, well, we'll fix it, but it's gonna cost you. So, on we go.
so you, otherwise you can't
And I'm
buy.
not saying I like Club Car, I think it's a wonderful car, I do, I think Yamaha's a wonderful car. You know, you know, folks, you want the Mercedes, but you only wanna pay for the Ford.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Same old-
So that's why I don't go to the Mercedes dealership, cause I can only afford the Ford.
Yeah,
So,
but Jerry,
and I agree, you know, like I said, and I agree with all of you, like I said, GPS, absolutely, if we can afford it. But you're going to, everything, there's a cause and effect. So if you are paying more annually for your lease, we're now at 53 grand a year, and it goes to 75 grand a year, well, that's part of your budget.
But
So the rate's
you know
gotta
what?
follow.
No, Jerry, the same token though, they're getting more for the money that we're raising, so it doesn't take a bad hit. If you're gonna go up $5 on a cart that's 4.5, 5 years old,
Oh,
it
I
sounds
agree with you,
and
Pete.
runs
I
like
agree with
crap,
you. I-
versus a nice new Yamaha with a nice dash and all
Well,
these
yeah,
bells and whistles.
yeah.
People aren't gonna complain.
Now, I asked you, and I agree with you, because, you know,
And
is Joe Q Public gonna come in there and say, our rates are $25 to rent that car, okay? And he's gonna say, well, it's a golf cart, I just wanna get around, why 25? Well, it's got this, it's got the comfort seats, it's got, you know, got so on, so.
Hey, Jerry, is there
So-
anybody, Jerry, is there anybody in town that can do some research to see if there's any federal money out there to go electric? Because, you know, that's a
Yeah,
big
we can't-
initiative.
We can't house them, we don't have the facility for
Yeah, you
that.
need- yeah.
What I'm saying is,
You don't have
is
the
there,
ropes heavy.
We don't have the
yeah,
room.
but we would have to build another building.
Oh, okay.
All right, and then go solar panels. All right, so I think that's another avenue that someone in the town needs to investigate to see if we can save some money here. And if there's money to be had to take in from the federal government.
Sure.
I mean, no harm in looking
No,
and asking the questions.
You can get it.
no, there's never any harm in looking. There's never
All
any
right,
harm. Bob.
I apologize, this has gone off on a tangent, but I
No.
interrupted your.
All right, I mean, I'll look into the GPS companies. I mean, maybe there's a chip that can go in one of them that's new and it's, you know, innovative and it's out
We'd be
there.
more
it's
than happy to
affordable.
test for them.
That
Yeah.
would be great.
I mean,
Right,
we'll
well,
just-
Beta test.
Yamaha's their own,
Beta.
but then they also sell something else which isn't related to Yamaha, which is less expensive than Yamaha. And that's obviously the way we would go, but, he says you're talking quite an increase in your annual payment.
Let's see what that
Hey,
is.
let's look, we gotta look,
Yeah,
we have to see.
yeah.
If we're gonna weigh out a Ranger versus that, I think the GPS actually
Absolutely.
probably come in
Probably
less,
better.
it'd probably come
I
in less
agree.
than that.
Be much more
Probably.
efficient.
All right, so just looking forward, I mean, I'm gonna be doing a lot of organizing and scheduling over the winter, just to make sure, there's no conflicts with outings and men's club, women's club events and all that. So organizing the schedule is a tedious job, but, I'm already more than halfway done, I would say. Gotta contact all the leagues, see if they're coming back. I'll work with Remzi. We hosted the mix 9 and dine, and that was pretty popular, so we'll probably format it the same way, because I felt like it was pretty good. And other than that, just clean up. I mean, Jared mentioned that maybe we'll look at the carpet in the golf shop and see if, the town's looking to do any work in the shop at all. I mean, really, if it's gonna save the town money, just keep it the way it is. But if they're looking to do anything, he might look into recarpeting it. That's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Why
Well,
can't
and
they put it-
congratulations on your certification. That's
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congrats on that, and,
Nice
the
program.
the communication between Timberland and the customer was
Yeah.
second to none this year.
Absolutely.
It was fabulous. I think Deidre did a great job this year, with the social media part of it. So, I mean, you know, I heard a lot of buzz about that. And
Yeah.
it's
Yep,
kinda
and,
cool,
and,
the Employee of the month and stuff, that was kinda cool. Yes, Debbie?
yeah, and Mark, I just wanted to make a note here. Your program this year with the juniors was fantastic. It was nice to see the kids out there on the weekends playing. There was a lot of kids out there,
Okay.
and that's the future. That's the future of Timberland, and you did an excellent job. So my hat's off to you.
I agree, I second
And I gotta
that.
say, Jerry, I saw you weren't going up on the junior rate, so happy to see that.
I didn't go by junior or military, no way.
Yeah. And also for Jerry,
Jerry, listen, Jerry, you,
That's our motto.
hold on, stop.
and I just want to make one comment for Jerry, for your side of the fence here. You did a good job too. I mean, you stepped in, you did the best you could. and the course was in pretty good shape this year. So nice job, Jerry, too.
Thank you, sir.
Agreed.
Great.
I got, people we play with get a lot of compliments on that, Jerry. Seriously, Mark, you guys are doing a great job. You really are. So,
Thanks.
both of you guys, seriously, doing a great job.
You playing any more this year, Jim?
I'm done for the year. I got my knee done.
Horse is closed.
Next 2 days.
Next 2 days.
There's no room.
2 days.
It
It's all
does.
full.
No room.
Well, it's so warm.
Yeah, it's full the next 2 days. All right, anything else?
Just again, folks, please, 21st. Be
Yeah,
there.
I will.
Yep.
Be there.
We'll be there.
Also, don't forget tomorrow night, 5:30, if anyone is interested, at the bungalow, for the committee and commissions.
See you there.
Okay?
And is it, so, going back to the beginning, now you all did the ethics?
Yes.
They're all-
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done mine yet.
Okay, so,
I dropped mine off that night
you did,
in the
Jim?
box.
I dropped mine in
Seven's
the
dropping
box,
his
too.
off.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop mine off tomorrow.
Okay. All right, motion to
Oh,
adjourn?
really?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, Jim, all in
Yep.
favor?
Yeah,
Okay, good night,
Very
everyone.
good.
yeah,
We'll see
happy
you guys
holidays,
next week.
guys.
Happy
Yep, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Do I need to?
Crossed my mind.
Oh, that's